let's move right along. I said we go ahead and hop into Andor. Let's do some Star Wars.
Heavy.
Man, this show is really getting good. Like there are not many shows where like I can watch it and I know that he's gonna be okay. I mean, but it's like I'm watching. I'm like, oh no, don't do this, no. Like it's weird because there are stakes in this show, and like I feel like I'm waiting for that hammer to drop and somebody big die. Like I thought there was gonna be a big death in this episode. There wasn't. There were a few little ones, But I did get what I wanted. I got a full episode of the prison break.
Damn
Got
near,
got the awesome speech that gave me chills.
Dude, speeches,
when I was listening to it. Like
speeches.
It gave me chills, and I was like, holy shit. But this show is just perfect. Knocking it out of the park. I'm loving Andor so far. What say you?
Dude, I knew that we were going to get something. Number one, I was a little bit spoiled with the whole Kino Loy thing because I watched an interview with Andy Serkis, and he was talking about his 3-episode arc, and I'm like, shit. All right, does that mean he's going to die, or like what's going to happen?
Right.
But just watching the episode and going back to it, we start to really figure out that he is like he's on his back foot right now, trying to figure out what he's going to do. He knows that he wants to help get out because he knows that it's impending doom, more or less, if you stay here. To see, just to kind of like focus on that scene, to see him start to really kind of come around mentally, you could see that it was a very big hurdle for him, and he was really trying to make sense of it. And Andor was right. He's like, if we're going to do it, now's the time. We're not going to get another chance. They're going to bring in someone in new, and when they bring someone in new, like that is the moment we have to attack. Like it's the only time they're going to come outside those doors, and they have to come outside those doors for any of this to work. Mm-hmm. I'm glad we got an answer to the pipe. Water made sense. I don't know how the electricity and all the electronics work in this place,
right?
But clearly water is the evil when it comes to electricity. One thing that bothered me, and it wasn't the fact that when he was walking into the facility and he noticed all the boots, it was that when they were trying to escape, it seemed like there were an endless amount of blasters. I'm like, if there's only 12 guards per level,
that's true.
Why are there so many blasters?
They did have a big what's the word I'm looking for?
Like stockpile inventory,
cache of weapons.
Yeah.
So it was pretty, but I mean, it worked out well. I mean, you got to have that. I get. Well, the thing was though, were they shorthanded just now for a specific reason, or was it just they always ran with 12 guards on? I mean, he said never more than 12.
Yeah, it seemed like it was never more than 12 because not that many people were necessary. These prisons definitely seem like they're set up to be, a very quick formulaic way to help keep the staff levels low, more or less, right? You keep these people in check and they're never going to be able to fight back because you don't put yourself in harm's way. And anytime they do fight back, everything is, electric floor, so that you just shock everyone and, pull them right back into their place. The problem that I kept on butting my head up against was this whole idea of the last episode where they brought someone in from the second floor. It might have been the second floor, but whoever got,
where they messed
back,
up.
Yeah, put back into a different place. Like if you were to ever recycle somebody, I feel like that person would open their mouth nonstop and be like, I was already in prison. They don't let you out. They put me in here. Like, and now I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, no matter where you go. Yeah, I agree.
Exactly.
That was a tough one right there. And I was thinking about that. But, but up until this point, I guess they thought, until Andor said something, they thought that they were being listened to all the time, right? That was the whole point of the episode. Nobody's listening.
He was trying to prove that point, is that, they don't care enough because they think that they have everything under control. They think that they have all the people there ready to go and everything is, all the ducks are going to fall in line whenever things need to happen.
Yeah.
So there appear to be only, a couple guards during prison transfers, one guy that manages the floor, a couple guards that look out the windows. So where 12 come from, I'm not sure, but they were able to get out. They fled the place. The level below them started dripping water too. They just went through and started wrecking shop, which good on them because I believe at some point Kino said there were 5,000 people in there.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's 5,000 people. I don't know how many floors, but you're only talking about, I'd imagine 120 guards, 200 guards at best.
Yeah.
You don't stand a chance.
Yeah.
We saw those guards in that room getting sitting there trying to. Everyone's like, "Be quiet, be quiet."
Yeah, they were
like,
hiding. Yeah.
Yeah.
Doing exactly what cowards would do in that situation. I mean, they were going to die anyway if they chose to go any other path. I want to talk about Circus though, like his acting ability in this. Like literally there's the moment, and I've had this not to the level of life and death, but I've had this moment where you've put so much into something and you believe in something so greatly, like to the point where you're convinced this is real, and then all of a sudden that rug gets pulled out from under you, and it is so difficult. And you see that moment, the one moment in his mind where it snaps, where he's fighting it the whole time. Because I would too, man. I would too if I was devoted my whole life, or as long as I've been in there, to this. And then this is probably the first time anything like this has happened, to believe that it's not true. Like it would just blow my mind. But you see him, you see him at that moment, and you can tell Cassian is not gonna shut up. Like he's not gonna be silenced. So you might as well go along with it. And as soon as he's in, man, everybody else is. And then, dude, that speech. Like I said, I'm listening to the speech and I'm getting chills. I wanted to rush the gates.
It's amazing how he was able to say that because what you're describing is right. But it's a shake in your faith. Like at any point in time, when what you believe, whether or not be faith or not, just like what you believe to be true,
right?
When that turns to crap, and you're left, with picking up no pieces. Mm-hmm. He was able to pull a speech out of his ass real quick. And it was all from the heart, and it was feeling, and that's what made it important and grand.
I'll tell you what, though, a person in that position is a dangerous person.
Oh, yeah.
Because that is the moment where you truly feel you have nothing to lose and nothing to live for. Like you don't care. You're just so... I will say, though, that after everything they did to get out, I don't give a shit if you can't swim. Jump off that damn dock. Swimming is a natural instinct. People who say they can't swim, I promise you, if it's drown or swim, you will find a way to kick your leg and get up to the top of the water. I promise you will. Okay, it's a natural instinct. And not only that, there's nothing stopping me from jumping off that platform right there. I don't care if
there's bound to be something in there that can float.
Yeah, or somebody that will help you.
Yeah, that was my number one thing. Like, don't worry, jump. We'll figure this out.
Yeah,
come on.
This is the plan. You got to go with it. We're making it up as we go. So, and the next part is swim. So, learn to swim. You will do it.
And that was that was a deep dive. That was a tall jump.
Oh yeah, it definitely was. But I mean, once again, natural instinct. You can throw an infant in the water, and they'll figure out a way to float to the top, to get to the top. So,
the shape of the prisons, we get to see them again. I noticed it the first time when they were flying in on the Narkina 5 episode, but the fact that they look like the Imperial insignia is just a beautiful touch, because when they zoom out and you see all the people floating or like swimming in the water, and you just see that massive crest, and you're just like that, the weight of it for some reason, with it being that, just makes it even more. Fast forward to the end episode, and we're left to only see, which I was going to say this early on, but I didn't want to until it kind of made like a pivotal moment. I knew that one person was definitely going to make it out of the prison, and it was definitely going to be the guy that kept on eyeballing him, the quiet guy. Shoot, I can't remember his name now. By the way, he is actually in Rogue One.
Is he? Okay.
He ends up being a part of the Rogue One crew that goes to Scarif. Man, I gotta remember his name, Malouche. But either way,
he said it right before he jumped off.
Yeah.
So I know, but I can't remember what it is either.
But it was odd to see only the two of them running together, whereas all these people got out. It was just the two of them.
Yeah, like they swam a different direction than everybody else, and nobody else went that way. I mean, somebody would have.
Melshi is his name. I knew it was going to come to me.
I'm mad we never found out what they were building.
Yep.
I don't know if we ever will. Maybe they'll just throw that in there as a little so-and-so base that builds this, that was building this, got attacked, and they'll be like, oh, that's what it is. And then it's going to go crazy on the internet. Everybody be looking up what that is. It'll happen.
I read an interesting article that was talking about how Star Wars is weaponizing the fandom knowledge. And so it's something like this that means nothing, that could be anything, but people are so hardcore focused on.
Yeah.
Like it's using the fan base knowledge against the fan base and saying, keep going. Oh
That's
yeah,
right.
I know.
You want to, you know why? Because it'd be so cool if it was something you, as a fan, you could just recognize right away. And the fact that it's
Mhm.
not something you can just recognize right away, it just boils your blood as a fan.
Yep.
You're like, what are they making? I don't know.
There were only 3 other plots. One of them was, this is a real quick, and it tied into another one, but it was a real quick view of Aldani. You see, Marva is still sick, and they're talking about getting her treatment. She's apparently saying no to the treatment, and then you see Cinta walk by, who is eyeballing the Imperial tail that Marva has. So you have a rebellion tail following an Imperial tail who's following Marva, who
Right.
is Cassian's mom.
Cassian's
So
mom. It's
that's gonna
all
have to hit.
connected. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna have to hit something somewhere. Um,
Did we get any Dieter this episode?
we did. I'll get to that one, but I think the other plot that was not nearly as big, but definitely had some heat to it, was the Mon Mothma plot.
Yes.
So I don't know. There were great speeches, but I'm going to tell you right now, Mon Mothma's delivery of that moment of being scared and uncertain and hating the fact that she is considering something that she would never think that she would consider in her life.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch her visually like choke up and try to hide it, that was hardcore acting, and she did a fantastic job with that.
Oh yeah. Now,
So even though there were 2 good speeches, that was definitely a highlight for me.
Oh, good acting point. Yeah. Now let me make sure I understand this right. Was he basically saying, "I don't want payment for this. I want to bring my son back to meet your daughter"? That was what he was aiming for.
He
Like
wants
a betrothal.
Yeah, that's exactly what he wants, because his name is tarnished, with bad deeds, and she is someone who works in the Senate currently. That's exactly what that was, and that was the thing that shook her, because even though her daughter Lita is a real pain in everyone's ass, definitely Mon Mothma's, she wouldn't do that to her own.
Right.
Because she knows, when she got married at 15 and Perrin is an asshole, she probably wants nothing more than to off him.
Right.
But I don't know, it seems like you got a rebellious teenager. I guess we have to see what the boy's going to be like. I don't know how that is going to pan out. All that I do